Recording.
We're good?
Yep.
As chairman of the Plan Commission for the town of Pierson, Monday, August 18th at 6 p.m., I now call the meeting to order. At this time, I would ask our town clerk to please have a roll call.
Chairman Paul Martell.
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chairman Blair Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Jeff Herron.
Here.
Pastor Max Tias.
Present.
Town Planner Rebecca Cottle.
Present.
And Ian Reinefeld.
All right, thank you. For the commission's noted, John was not here. He did give me a call, and he's gone back to Texas. He has to be excused. So, with your, if there's no if there's no objections, I'm gonna excuse him. All right. Okay. Thank you. At this time, I would ask Pastor Max to please have the invocation.
Sure. Be glad to. Let's pray together. Our Father, we come to you tonight. We thank you that you are able to help us. You're able to give us wisdom. You're able to give us insight. We thank you for a beautiful day. And I just ask that you would bless all of the families of the commissioners around the table, the staff that's here. Bless them, bless their families. And I pray that you just help us to have good management and do things right and make good sound decisions. We thank you for that. In the strong name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Please rise and face the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. At this time, I will, as chairman, I will accept a motion to the approval of the minutes for July 22nd.
Move to approve.
Mr. Buck?
No,
I move to approve the
Oh,
minutes.
all right, thank you. Thank you. Do I hear a second on the approval?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Mayor,
Hello. Good afternoon.
we are so glad to have you here.
I just got a few minutes before the lines were opened up.
So you're slumming?
No.
At this time, as you see in front of you on the agenda, new business. I've been asked by Ryan to have him speak first on the FRDAP grant discussion. Ryan, it's your baby.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, so you guys probably remember last year I came to you in September and we discussed a FRDAP grant to do some renovations at Chipper Jones Park. As you probably are aware, there was an election, there was some DOJ stuff that went around. The state kind of put a halt to a bunch of grant funding last year. They actually did not award any FRDAP grants last year. So all that application was moot and it got thrown out. We do intend to apply again this year. They are supposedly opening it this year. I have a workshop, a webinar for them on Wednesday, and they're going to go over it. But if they do open it this year and they do intend to take applications, we would like to try again. So just as a refresher, Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program, FRDAP, it's a program through Department of Environmental Protection. It's usually used for the acquisition and development of land for public use, recreation, parks, trails, that kind of thing. It can also be used to renovate existing recreational outdoor areas. So as you all know, there's been a lot of discussion in the community. Chipper Jones Park, a lot of that equipment's 30 plus years old. We need some new playground equipment. We need some renovations to some of the ball fields. So what we would like to do is we would like to go for the maximum amount we can get, which for us is $200,000. ready designated city, and I put a little bit of info in here just for some reading if you guys would like to learn more about that. But READY is the Rural Economic Development Initiative. Basically, we meet several of the criteria for a rural city. We're under a certain population. Ag is our primary business in town. Some economically disadvantaged things, you know, we're at or below median income, that kind of thing. The state actually does their own analysis. We used to have to pay a grant writer to get a READY designation. Now the state automatically looks at every town every year and determines if they're eligible. So we are, as of May 2025, eligible again. So because we have that READY designation, we can ask up to the maximum amount, $200,000, without having to match any funds. So if we get approved, we essentially don't have to pay anything. Like I said, our application, according to their attorney, looked good last year. We would have probably won it had it not been for, like, point-wise, we did well. There was a technicality that would have probably made us ineligible. It had something to do with the legal description on our survey. We've since corrected that. So we're pretty confident that if we submit it this year, we have a good chance of getting it. And as you know, we have gotten it in the past. We got smaller amounts in the past. We got $75,000 to do a couple pieces of playground at Chipper Jones Park, or playground equipment at Chipper Jones Park, and then we got 75 for the park, Nixon Park up at Palmetto and County Road 3. We bought, I think, one piece of playground equipment for each park for that. So we're trying to do a little bit more this year. I did reach out to some playground companies. They came, they evaluated our equipment, they gave us a proposal. We're looking somewhere in the ballpark of probably $120,000 to $130,000 to redo everything that's up there. And then that would leave you some money to do some improvements to the ball fields, to probably the bathrooms, because the bathrooms also need a complete overhaul up there. So part of the process is I have to go to an advisory committee, which would be you guys. And if you do agree that we should apply for this, I'll need two separate motions that are on here. One basically recommending that we apply, and the second saying that if we do apply, we're going to amend our capital improvement plan for next year to include the $200,000 park renovation. And then I guess we'll deal with Mark and Rebecca will have to help us upgrade our CIP to do that. So, questions?
Commissioners, have a question to Ryan?
What was the amount, Ryan, to rejuvenate?
About 100, well, depending on what we want, right? So the one they put together for us was, the playground company that came out here, he actually met with Ray and I, and he basically said, there's too much stuff out here. You have to simplify this. There's like 12 play areas up there.
Yeah.
He said there should be like a 2 to 6 and like a 7 to 14, 15.
Mhm.
One big multi-piece that has multiple things on it for each play group, and then maybe like a little swing set, a big swing set. He's envisioning like maybe just 5 zones, right? Because he said there's people in way bigger cities that have even smaller parks than that. He's never seen a park with that much stuff. So his initial plan would have been one giant piece and then a couple little accessory pieces for each age group. And that was, I think, somewhere in the ballpark of like $120,000 to $140,000.
And would that bring us to ADA compliance and everything?
Yes, that was one of our, we want each of the big pieces to have ADA compliant elements on them, and we also ask about ADA compliant swings, which are a little trickier.
Mm-hmm.
He said unfortunately those get misused a lot by kids who are not,
Correct.
do not need ADA stuff, but we specifically asked for it because we've had several parents email us and want that. So,
Right.
But yeah, we wanted to make sure everything was ADA compliant, and then his quote also included like barricading off each thing, because there has to be so much mulch, and it has to be so thick, and it's got to be 2 feet from each corner of the
Sure.
piece. So that included all of that. And then going forward, our public works would just have to renew mulch every year, and there's some ongoing maintenance that is required for also makes me fill out a whole form explaining how we plan to maintain this if we get the grant. And then I would say anything left over would probably go toward, we've been through a million discussions with Little League about new poles and new LED lights for the fields, and we've done some irrigation work on the fields this year. So, I mean, you could use that leftover money in other parts of Chipper Jones Park, but the playground is gonna be our main focus.
And you had mentioned about the toilets and stuff, and that's where you're planning on putting any extra money into that.
So, the interesting thing about that is when you apply for different grants, and the Volusia County Echo is like this too, only like up to 49% can be used for like an accessory structure, so like pavilions, bathrooms.
Gotcha.
If you're doing the ballpark, that would be like concession stands. So you can't like go get that money and then go, okay, I'm gonna use half of it to do a bathroom. They won't reimburse you for that. So we can't use all of it for that, but we would like to use a portion of it to do
That's
that.
great, I'm glad
I
you,
think that old grant, it was pretty specific on how much percentage you could use
Yeah.
for one thing, and a percentage you could use for this, and a percentage you could use for something else. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
like you could just go out and
And part of the
buy $200,000
application,
worth of swing.
right, part of the application, part of the actual process itself is I actually have to show them how we plan, just on average, how to use that 200,000. So you say, park renovation is gonna be 80, and, new structures is gonna be 20, and so that is all part of your scoring process, is they wanna know exactly how you plan to spend it when you get approved.
did you mention that on this mulch, that'll be boxed in?
Yeah,
So
they
it doesn't
have,
spill all over?
they have these big rubber, sort of like bumper type
Yeah.
things that they anchor into the
Okay.
ground. I think they're like 12 inches
Kinda
tall.
like, yeah, we looked
Yeah.
at them.
Yeah, and they just kind of hammer them into the ground, like railroad stakes almost, and then,
I think
you
it's
just
great.
have to keep them like, 12 inches full of mulch under all the playground equipment.
Gotcha.
I talked to a few people about the new stuff they're using, that rubberized stuff at all the parks. Crazy expensive, and I don't know the longevity of it. I don't know how long
What
it
they
will
call it,
last.
forward rubber or something like that.
There's a name for it. The county's using it at all their parks, but the county has county money, so.
Is
But-
there anything else, Ryan?
Nope, that was all. I
Commissioners?
got, unless you have questions.
As
Nothing.
far as, is this all new equipment, redoing what's
No.
there?
Gray and I spoke with the playground person, and he basically said some of the little stuff that's out there is still in good shape, but the big play pieces out there, it's not even worth putting the money into redoing it.
In other words, he said, you take a piece of playground equipment, that just say it's $50,000, and why do you wanna put 38,000 into it?
True, yeah.
It's not just 30 or
So
40 years
the
old.
way it works is he found a manufacturer of it. And so that manufacturer sold all of their molds and stuff, like when that manufacturer closed, another playground company bought all of their proprietary, the stairs, the molds for the slides, all that stuff is like specific to those pieces, right? So he said, first you've gotta find the company who's got all of the stuff, and then how much would it be to retrofit new, because they basically have to manufacture new stairs for you, or a new slide for you, and he said, by the time you do that, and then pay someone to come cut out the old bolts that are froze up, pull it out, put it in, pay shipping on, a 500-pound set of stairs, he said you might spend 10 or 15 grand retrofitting one piece of equipment, or you could spend 30 and just get a new one.
Right.
Yeah.
Did
And
the,
it's so old that,
Yeah. did the quote include removal of the old stuff, or would that be?
I think it did, but we actually were just gonna have our public
Okay.
works guys do it anyway, because regardless of whether or not we get the grant, it needs to come out. They deemed that it was probably too dangerous to leave there. It's a
Gotcha.
liability.
There were some bad,
So we are gonna have our guys take out the worst 4 pieces that are up there, so. And that's something that we're capable of doing.
Yeah.
plus
Anything
they
else?
know where the sprinklers are, hopefully.
That too, yeah.
Okay, as it says on the paper here, as chair, I will accept a motion on motion 1 to accept the recommendation.
I move to recommend that the town of Pierson apply for the FERDAP grant, in the amount of $200,000 to apply to Chipper Jones Park.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Mark, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Keep quiet. Okay, now we'll move to motion 2. Same, as chairman, I will entertain a motion for motion 2.
I move to recommend that the town council revise the capital improvement element of the town's comprehensive plan to include $200,000 available through the FERDAP for the renovation of the Chipper Jones Park.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ryan, you can get out of here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, now, to get back to the meat and potatoes, or hamburgers, or whatever. We have the lovely Rebecca here, and I'm gonna put this on your back, young lady.
All right.
Take over.
So the first item we're going to look at is the town center rezoning. You'll have 2 staff reports. One is for future land use change, and the other is for rezoning for this property. Right now, it has an agricultural future land use and zoning, which obviously doesn't match the current use or the previous use as the elementary school. So town council directed us to prepare an amendment to the future land use map and the zoning map to change the future land use to public or institutional, and the zoning to planned development to allow those institutional uses, and then also community service-based uses so that we can create this town center that the town has envisioned. So if you look at the second staff report and you go to the back where the ordinance is, it'll be ordinance 2025-14 at the top. And if you go to page 6 of that, this is the draft of the development agreement. And there's a list of all the uses that would be allowed in this zone.
Where are we? I'm sorry, Rebecca,
So,
I
that's okay.
lost.
So it looks like this, it's 2025-14. It's one of the ordinances. It'll probably be towards the back of your stack there.
Undo.
Oh, turn over the one that has the,
Back.
All these things.
I think I have that right there.
Just
probably on the back of that.
I think it's in the
survey.
that he's got in his hand there.
Mm-hmm.
all right. Got it. Got it.
Okay,
Okay.
so in there, if you go to page 6, there's a list of all the permitted uses in this draft of the
So you
development.
got it.
See you, Mr. Mayor.
Everything you do.
So you have things like urgent care, dental or vision health providers, family and youth support services, meeting rooms, event spaces, all community service-based uses. And this is a draft, so if there was something that you wanted to direct us to add or take away, that is an option that you have as well.
How many people have we got right now?
One.
For people for,
Who are part of our complex? Yeah. The
um,
library?
the library.
Is that the only one outside of the sheriff?
And red. The
Physical
physical
therapy
therapy
office.
Oh, that, yeah, the other one. So you got 3. All right. Has there been any, doctors or dentists that have
We,
approached?
well, we approached Advent Health.
Okay.
And we presented them with a report with a bunch of population data about not just Pierson, but the surrounding area as
Sure.
well. Because there's about 14,000 people in this area that have to drive half an hour or more to get to urgent care. And looking at the number of urgent cares in DeLand and Port Orange, we thought that should be enough to support an urgent care. And so we tried to present them with that and convince them to see if they had any interest. And they met with us, they listened, they really haven't responded with interest from what we can tell. So we do hope to eventually approach Halifax Health
Okay.
as well.
I think
But
it's
we
a
are
great-
approaching them, they have not approached us.
I think it's a great thing. At least a thinking future. Are there any questions from the commissioners? Max,
No, I don't have any questions.
Jeff,
No, not,
Larry?
not at this
No,
time.
I'm good.
Okay.
I got something,
Chairman?
Paul, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Ron, go
I
ahead.
just so you're aware, I don't know how much you guys know about us purchasing this property as a town. This was actually supposed to happen like 7 years ago. When they purchased this property, Mark and the fire marshal and all these people came to them and said, if you envision this as a town center, you're gonna have to rezone it, you're gonna have to get, the fire marshal's gonna have to change the use, the designated use on all these properties, and then the town purchased this and then just dropped all that. So, this was actually supposed to be part of the agreement when we purchased it, and then just no one ever did it. So now, we're trying to make it legal because we're already renting space.
Right.
Sure.
So, I mean, this isn't really a new thing. The original council then was presented with all of this, and then they just didn't proceed
Right.
with it. So,
Well, I would,
We are recommending approval. This does take two actions, one for the future land use and one for zoning.
say again, please.
This will take two actions
Uh-huh.
to, if you wanna forward it to the town council as it is, one for the future land use and then another for the zoning.
Okay, all right. As chairman, I would entertain a motion for the future, use. Is that what you said?
Yep, the future land use.
I move to move forward with the change, for this parcel, from agriculture and rural residential to public institutional.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
Just a quick question, what ordinance number are we referencing this?
2025-14, I believe.
Yeah, that's the rezoning and then I think
Oh, that's the rezoning?
13 is the,
It'd be 13.
is the future land use, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can I not do a number?
Insert that in there. Well, I just inserted it.
Well,
Look at it.
where's the number at? Where's the?
Up top.
I saw 13.
I just wanted to make sure which one we were
Yes.
talking about.
Hold on.
One's 13, one's 14. We're talking 13 now. So we just gotta clarify, but you took care of it, right?
Nope, I'll make it official.
You make it official,
I
Blair.
move to amend my original motion, to include the ordinance 2025-13 to change the future land use plan to include this property and change it from agricultural and rural residential to public institutional.
Okay. The motion's been amended, and I would entertain a second.
Second.
Second, okay. Any discussion on 2013, 2513? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Now we have to do 2025-14. Right. And I would entertain a motion for rezoning of the real property of 2025-14.
I move to, hold on, where's my numbers here? Apologize. I move to rezone, in accordance with ordinance 2025-14, I move to rezone parcel number 48340500000050 to planned development commercial.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a second on the motion?
I'll second
Seconded. Any discussion on this 2025-14? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
it. Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. That's gone.
Alright, we'll bring that one forward to town council. The next one is an annexation, request. And, right now, this property is in the county and has environmental systems, corridor, and agricultural resource, future land use, and it has a resource corridor and prime agriculture zoning. What they are asking to do is not only annex, but they are wanting a heavy commercial and industrial future land use and zoning, because the property has an existing car repair business that has been on the site for quite a while. Technically is not allowed by the current county zoning, but the county also hasn't required them to change it or shut down either. So they're really asking to basically just continue something they've already been doing, which is a big factor in why we're recommending approval. And that's also why, if you look at the maps and you see on their existing future land use and zoning, the line is a little, you kind of see some curves in the line, and the way that we're drawing the zoning lines for heavy commercial, industrial, and conservation are different. It's because the property is already developed and there's already disturbed area, so we're not proposing to basically assign a conservation zoning on an area that already has a number of structures on it. And they have a mobile home, they have several accessory structures, including 2 sheds, a wooden storage building, and a pole barn. So all of those are in the area that would get that heavy commercial industrial development zone.
That's on 17 north of Palmetto. I've never noticed that there.
It's tucked back in there.
It's tucked
It
back
is.
in there, but if
It
you,
is.
if you go back there and see it, at one point you wouldn't have missed it. They've cleaned it up a lot.
Really?
At one point, the county they had some violations, not so much for the car repair business, but I think just for some storage that they had out there. So that's probably the resolution to that. Was
Anything environmental with,
so it does have that environmental systems corridor there,
Yeah.
but so what we're gonna do, if this goes forward, is we would keep a conservation zoning on the portion of the site that is not disturbed. So you can kind of see we are moving the line, but that's just to accommodate the part of the site that already has
sure,
clearing and a number of structures. But that area that would be conservation would still be protected. And then the very last, second to last map is the wetland map. So they do have some in that back area, on that backside of the property, but that would be still within the conservation portion of the site.
Sure.
So they wouldn't be able to touch that.
So they're basically gonna be working with what they got.
Right. So even though it is different than the zoning they have around them, it is just maintaining an existing use and validating what they're doing now.
Okay. Are there any questions from the commissioners? Max?
Do you see any, obviously you're recommending it, any negative downside?
From the town's perspective, it's bringing a business into the town, so you're getting that tax benefit. They will be able to actually lawfully operate the business at this point. Since the county hasn't given them a code violation for the use, typically we won't recommend approval if there's an existing violation. They resolved all the violations and the county did not give them one for the use. And so we're taking that as they don't have a huge issue with the use, but obviously we want to make it legitimate and allowed by the zoning.
Okay.
Jeff, you got any questions?
No,
Blair? I see smoke.
I'm just curious, how much, from this property south, how far, what's the distance within the next closest town property?
that's what I was trying to find.
They're adjacent, so, I'm sorry the colors are not perfectly identical, but this property here is actually within the county. We can't annex anything if it's not directly adjacent to something within the town. So
Right.
this property is within the town.
Okay.
So they will be adjacent.
Right.
And then there is a bit of a gap before you have other properties that
Okay.
are adjacent to
They
17.
have a border.
They do, yes.
Okay.
Well, that clears up, I mean, that answered exactly what I.
You're good?
Yeah.
You gentlemen all good? Okay. As chair,
This
I
one will
would
be, so I'm sorry, this one will be
two parts.
three parts.
Oh,
So they have the annexation.
Right.
They have
Change
the
the
future
heavy.
land use
Right.
and the rezoning. So they have three things.
All right. All right.
Say that again?
There's
So
three ordinances
three-
that go with that.
This one has
Yeah.
three. One is
One,
to
two.
annex into the town. One is for their future land use that we can give them the
Is
town.
it in this part of the packet?
The ordinances are, I think, after all I think
They're at the
the
back,
three,
yeah.
the three reports and then the three ordinances.
Okay.
2025-11,
Okay.
Bombarding.
2025-12, and the first one is just annexation, right?
Correct.
Right. All right, as chair, I would entertain a motion for the parcel, which is 482-100000016, to be annexed into the town of Pierson. And this is 2025.
2025, 10.
10.
The ordinance.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
That's,
I move that we approve the recommended ordinance of 2025-10 for parcel ID 4821000000016.
Second.
okay, thank you very much. Is there any discussion on this matter? Hearing, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the ayes have it. Annexation is done. Number 2, the chair will entertain a motion for change into heavy industrial on 2025-11 ordinance. And the same parcel number and in the town of Pierson.
I move to approve ordinance 2025-11, pertaining to parcel 482100000016, asking for a change of future land use from Volusia County Environmental Systems Corridor and Forestry Resource to a town of Pierson future land use, conservation, and heavy industrial and commercial.
Good job, good job. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion on this 25-11? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Done. All right, the third and final is ordinance 2025-12. As chair, I would entertain a motion that this property, which is, as we just went through, 482100000016, be rezoned.
I move to approve ordinance 2025-12, referencing the property 482100000016, rezoning the property from Volusia County Resource Corridor, Airport Overlay, and Forest Resource Airport Overlay to a town of Pierson, conservation and B2 heavy commercial and industrial development zoning district.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion?
We need a second, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Max. I would entertain a second.
Second.
All right, thank you. Now I can go back to what I said before, and that still stands. Is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Very good. That was easier than I thought it was gonna be. Is there anything else we have to? No, we don't. That's it. Wow, you guys did good. I'm gonna get you all gold stars. That's all there is to it.
Oh, you gotta do
Yeah.
turn it, boss man.
At this time, it is 6:42, something like that.
38.
6:38. Thank you very much, Jeff. And I will adjourn this meeting. Town of Pierson, Planning and Zoning Commission.
I have a quick announcement.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be on the.
No, what